What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, episode 21. Here with my guy, Bredson. How are you?
New place, man. New digs. I like it. Like it.
Mate,
I
I'll
might.
be honest. I did see the comments about sweating, and yeah, I thought we deserved the upgrade, and yeah, we're gonna see a lot happening here at FC Wonderkid. So go subscribe to the YouTube, and if you go check our Twitch, that we haven't done a live still, but you can follow us there already because yeah, this is why we got the new place, guys. Lives are
Yep.
gonna happen.
Big
So.
things. Big things. And yet I'm still stuck here on the other side of the Atlantic. But hey,
But we're
one.
working on a show there too, mate.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
a lot's gonna happen there, and a lot happened this weekend on Ronaldo finally back on the Prem. What you have to say about that? 20 miles per hour in the
Yeah.
second goal. Okay, age is just a number with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He showed it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. When Pavel Nedved was told about his two goals on the day, he said he scored again. I'm not surprised. Right. And that tells you all you need to know. I mean, them losing, Juve losing Ronaldo, Ronaldo going to Old Trafford and scoring two on his first in his first minutes. That's just amazing.
And
Absolutely
like
cool.
it's the theater of dreams for a reason. And like
Yeah.
what I loved was Mason Greenwood. He shined, and Bruno Fernandes plus Cristiano Ronaldo link up.
Yep.
My days! Like I saw
Yeah.
that face that Alex Ferguson did in the stands, and my days. That is such a good scene now. But
Yeah.
what are your expectations now, updated with all
Well,
this?
updated. I mean, I guess your expectation was what, 25, 30 goals or bust? No, I think it took them a little while, right, for the chemistry to build. And I think, to be honest, it's only going to get better. And the only thing that can derail this currently is what, injuries, right?
Hmm.
An injury. And it's good to see. It's great to feel like this is not going to be a Manchester City runaway season. City looks good. United looks good. Hell, Chelsea looks good. Like we talked about in our preview, this is going to be a fight to the death for like the top three, top four, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful to see. So I
And
wouldn't
Paul
say any
Pogba.
change in expectations, but yeah, Paul Pogba, 7 assists to start the season,
Like
unbelievable.
last 2 seasons, he had 6 assists, right? And now
Yeah,
7.
yeah,
Like it's with Pogba. I think like imagine you're in the United locker room for a second.
mhm,
Imagine the interactions of Pogba with Ronaldo. Like he won't disrespect him, okay? And honestly, I think the arrival of Ronaldo is gonna help Pogba a lot, okay?
sure.
So Raiola will have a good smile, okay, when Ronaldo has his development done, okay, with
Yeah.
Pogba. So next summer, do you think now with Ronaldo there, Pogba stays? Because I'm not too hopeful.
No, I'm still not too hopeful. I mean, logistically, that's somebody who pours through the finances is going to know a little bit better, the wage bill, all that good stuff. But I think I think we're both in agreement that Pogba is probably going to leave, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But I'll tell you, if he drops what, 20 assists this season, I don't know. It's got to cool down. And I understand he hit for what, four in the first game. I guess, what was it, what, one or two yesterday?
Yeah. No,
Or,
he had a poker and then he got like one.
yeah.
So he's
Okay.
and Bruno with a banger.
Yeah.
So overall, even Luke Shaw, I feel like we're talking about all these names, and Luke Shaw had a
Mhm.
worldie yesterday. Okay,
Yeah.
Luke Shaw. I don't. I'm not scared to say now. Luke Shaw is definitely top 3 left backs in the world right now
It,
because it's the
yeah.
creation, it's the defending, but it's the creativity he does, the passes. It's.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to see, considering we've come a long way from how many times he's been injured. And obviously the whole fight about whether or not he looked in shape or was in shape. I'm just happy to see that he's actually coming through, because I remember the promise behind him at Southampton, right? What we all
Hmm.
expected him to become. And I only hope that, the way Luke Shaw has worked his ass off through his
Hmm.
injuries, through his trials and tribulations, I only hope that Harvey Elliott can do the same thing after what happened earlier today, and that was just stomach churning to see. So I know we just went from talking about United to talking about Liverpool, but it's been on my mind since that Pascal
It was
Struijk.
just now.
Uh, just
It was
yeah,
just
it's
now.
yeah, ankle fracture, man. It's got to be ankle fracture. It
It's
was.
so sad. Like
It is.
Harvey Elliott is one of the best 18-year-olds in the world right now. I don't if some of you listeners don't know about him. Is this happening?
Yeah.
It happened now
So
against Leeds. Like it looks like it's a bad injury, guys.
it
So
does, and all prayers up to number 67, and in hopes that he can come on back stronger. And I just have to, and I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but I gotta say, the amount of 18-year-olds that like carry themselves like they've been in the league for 10, 15, 20 years, it's
mhm.
unbelievable. I don't know. We're gonna have to do some history on this, some combing through history, because Harvey Elliott, Jude Bellingham, um, come on, Pedri,
Musiala,
Musiala. I mean, Gio Reyna.
Nuno
These are
Mendes, he's
guys.
19.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's 19 now, but it's absolutely unbelievable to me that these 18-year-olds are like carrying themselves as if they're 30, 32. Like they've been
So
in the
true.
club for years. So I know Elliott will come back, but you always got to say, hey, wish you the best. And Luke Shaw is a perfect example of being able to do it. I mean, how many
Yeah,
times did people write him off?
yeah, he was resilient, especially with
Yeah,
Mourinho. Like Mourinho was like handling like his coffin at United. I really thought he wouldn't work out, especially seeing Alex Telles going.
sure.
So all the United listeners that say that we don't talk about United, guys, you got a good minutes there,
Yeah.
and you got to be hopeful with those times, especially with Rhys James there.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens with United. But I think we can lead up here with the talk of the top goal scorer in the league, because
Sure.
Ronaldo's performing and we got Lukaku in the other end
I
performing.
mean,
And
yeah.
it's not bold for me to say right now that I think Lukaku is going to be a Chelsea legend in the end of all this, because
Yeah.
I am getting the feeling that he wants to be the big boss at United. At Chelsea. Lukaku wants to be the big boss at Chelsea, okay,
A
guys?
little slip there.
Exactly. That was
Uh,
he was at United, but it didn't work out. So,
yeah,
but
it's true. It's true.
it's so having that settled.
Hmm.
I think Champions League is a scenario that Lukaku is dreaming, and
Yeah.
I feel like his career. What I love about the Lukaku move is I don't feel like he'll be going to Real Madrid or Barcelona after this.
Oh.
30 million. He settled in. Okay, he developed well in Inter, and now at Chelsea, I feel like he's gonna settle, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful to see, honestly, because players are coming and going nonstop,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And man, he has just looked so good. But I think this also comes down to the fact that I'm not saying that it's the end of days for people saying they have to go to Real Madrid, have to go to Barcelona. But as we talked about previously, I do think that there's a consolidation of power around the Premier League being the destination. And
Yeah.
and Romelu Lukaku, I mean, hey, comes. I don't think he could have asked for a better start. He waited a decade for his milestone of scoring at Stamford Bridge and being able to, just hold his arms out. And it was just amazing to see. But he's also doing it for his country too. You know, 50
Mm-hmm.
goals in his last 50 games for Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty unreal. So, I mean, I
But
love it.
I'll have to judge him, mate. Though with Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku, they'll be judged without that international trophy, mate. Like
Yeah,
it's they need to get this World Cup in the next because they've been like number one in FIFA for how many years?
sure.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sick of like saying, oh, who's number one? Belgium, and like everyone, should it be Brazil? No, it's
Yeah.
Belgium because they got Lukaku, De Bruyne. Like they've got the best national team in terms of
Yes.
attacking players.
It's just
But
that
defensive
defense.
wise, they
Hmm.
they did lack, and they had Vertonghen, Alderweireld back in the day,
Yeah.
but in the fullbacks, I remember they were a bit bad. But uh,
Yeah.
there you go. You have any
And
player you want to highlight here?
yeah, well, you know, from last week, I got to bring up Adama Traore. Okay.
Okay.
I understand he can't hit the broadside of a barn when it comes to him shooting the ball. Okay. But if you go and you look at the statistics, okay, in his 4 games with the Premier League so far, he has 38 dribbles won.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what the next person has? Okay. That would be San Maximin from Newcastle with 20. So he's averaging 9 to 10 dribbles completed per game. And he is just, I mean, he just takes people on. You can understand why people will pay for him. He literally breaks the metrics, he breaks the analytics because he's a very different and dominant player when it comes to a person on the dribble. Now, whether or not he can complete a pass or a cross, whatever, but I mean, his first 4 games with Wolves have been pretty phenomenal, all things considered. And the most interesting thing to think about there is he actually has been able to get to a point where he's been able to create shots for people. So he leads the Premier League in shot creating actions as well with about 8.4 per 90. So Adama Traore, it took me a while during the offseason when everybody was like saying they'd pay 50 million, 60 million for Adama Traore. I just didn't really understand it. Well, he's showcased it the first 4 games of the season. That's for sure. Crazy.
Like, people were going bold with Adama Traore, saying 80 million. I even saw some 100 million used with Adama Traore. And he would be 200 million if that guy had that finishing. Because you mentioned that dribbling. That is insane stat. And Saint Maxime, like, he embarrasses people too.
He does.
I know some of you listeners know that this guy is a cold baller, Saint Maxime.
Yeah.
So that is a fantastic mention there, Adama Traore. And I was surprised he didn't go to Tottenham, because I was thinking he was going to Tottenham, because Nuno Mendes really, I think that would be a really good option to have there.
Well, I'm telling you, third on that list is a guy you might like. That would be Trincao. He's third in dribbles won so far. It's a much lower number, 13. But the fact that the 2 wingers of Wolves are dribble merchants, that's pretty awesome, I guess. But yeah, no, Adama Traore is going to be I want to see him for Spain. I haven't seen too much of him for Spain right now, but he's just one of those ones that you either love him or you just basically laugh as he dribbles into traffic or something. I don't know.
If you don't love him, you basically hate him because of FIFA.
Fair enough.
Because he must be like the worst thing you get. Like when you get that line of Ultimate Team before.
Yeah.
Oh my days, Adama Traore. Okay. I want to highlight, though, a player that I feel like is starting to... He was overrated for a bit, but now I feel like he's getting underrated. And that is Mo Salah. Okay?
Fair enough.
Why am I saying he's good? He's being a bit underrated now. Because Mo Salah should be compared next to Lukaku, Ronaldo, De Bruyne. Okay? And I just saw him getting 100 Premier League goals. Okay? And you too. And that is a feat that it's not anyone that does it, especially at the time that he managed to do it.
Right.
And his stats in terms of finishing and the efficiency is ridiculous. Yeah. So I think that Liverpool, maybe, I don't know how much he's asking to renew his contract, but I think he should be the highest paid at Liverpool next to Van Dijk. Okay. I think he deserves it. But I don't know. I just feel like he deserves the mention that he's a top 5 player in the Premier League, Mo Salah. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't rate him like that.
And doing so with consistency. I mean, that's kind of obviously his numbers, when averaged out over time, it shows consistency. But, they had a lot of injuries last year, and he still wound up being their most important man every game. So it's just unbelievable how Salah used to wear a Chelsea shirt, and it just somehow didn't work out. And I know we've all seen it before, right? The De Bruyne, the Lukaku back in the day, the Salah, I mean, all of that, all in Chelsea shirts and how they let them go. But hey, things happen for a reason, right? And it's just absolutely amazing to see how wonderful he's done. And a guy, actually, and I don't mean unless you have something more to say about this, a guy that is actually working up to Salah-like consistency levels, at least in 2021, Memphis Depay.
Yeah.
Right? Memphis Depay has emerged as like just a freaking force for club and country this season. In 2021, he's got 28 goals, 14 assists in like 37, 38 games so far this year. And I got to say, is it just because he's moved to Barcelona that he's finally starting to get a little bit of the reputational, uptick that he should get? Or is it because he's been so damn good? I mean, he had a hat trick against Turkey. I know it was a 10-man Turkey, but I mean, he's moving closer and closer because he's already got a couple goals for Barcelona this season. He's moving closer and closer to Galactico status. I think so, at least. And it seems like it's been a long time coming, but you got to give the recognition where it's due, right?
I agree with you. I gotta agree with you. Like, that is the fantastic way to end it with Depay, because Depay is currently, in my opinion, a top 5 player in the world right now in terms of performances. The guy is playing insane, and I do think it's because of the confidence. Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's a confidence pump up because right now there's a spot to fill at Barcelona. Okay, the big man has left. And you can even see with the celebration that he's been doing that he wants to be the icon in camp now. And no hate there. And honestly, maybe Coleman was the one that really wanted him to come, because Depay must have been talking for days to Ronald Koeman.
Sure.
Because that's the feeling that I'm getting. I'm getting the feeling that Depay really wants to make this happen at Barcelona, and he wants to become a legend at the club. And I got to respect that. Because he's been balling out.
I'm with you with that. Well, before we move on, we do have to mention, we mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. We have to obviously bring up Leo Messi. I mean, come on. Hat trick in World Cup qualifying. In the process, he breaks Pele's South American goal scoring record for international goals. Somewhere in between, he had to act as like the ambassador on the pitch with that crazy thing that happened with Brazil, Argentina, right? Where they tried to detain some of the players right before or right after the game actually started. And then you have all these shots, these videos coming out of him celebrating and getting to celebrate with the Argentinian people his Copa America win, that first international trophy that he was able to bring them. So, I mean, come on. It tugs at the heartstrings the same way Cristiano Ronaldo returning to Old Trafford does. And it's just, you were talking to me and trying to convince me that Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi were going to play together. They are not destined ever to play together, and nor do I want them, because now I get 2 times where I feel happy instead of just 1 time.
Man, I'll be hearing that for the rest of our friendship, man. I feel
probably.
I feel like, because those are the 2 most iconic players. And I do have to say, I put it out there in the internet, so I guess it's you go. There you go.
It's eternal, man. It's not Snapchat. It's not disappearing ever. So I think that's probably good to end it up. But where do you want to go next?
Well, with the Wonder Kids, right? We're talking about the big boys now, so let's talk about the ones that are going to take over now. And I'm going to talk about the best under 21 talent in the world right now, and that is Erling Haaland. I am not scared to say that. That is a fact right now. Yeah. Anyone that watches football tells you that, okay? And I just saw a stat that game was bonkers against Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes,
okay?
It was.
I just saw the second half, and my gosh, I was entertained.
Yeah.
And what I'm loving to see is I am actually seeing a development with Erling Haaland these days, because Erling Haaland was a natural-born goal scorer last season, but this season he's actually getting hungrier.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like he really wants to end the game with that W. And last season, yes, he did get some unfortunate losses, but I did feel like he needed to give that extra inch.
Yeah.
And now I feel like he has the he feels he has the responsibility to deliver as the main man at Borussia Dortmund.
Sure.
And I said it before the Bundesliga season start, and I'm going to repeat it. I feel like he's going to be the best scorer in the Bundesliga ahead of Lewandowski. And that is going to be the biggest statement that he can have leading up to this summer. Next summer.
Yeah.
And there you go. like 65, like hella stats.
It's almost impossible to keep up with. He's normalized scoring multiple goals in the game, and you're right. I think there has been a progression to him. I think he's gotten stronger in the air. I think if that's even possible, and I think that his off the ball movement has gotten smarter. He's learned how to kind of work smarter instead of work harder. Is that right? That a right way to put it? But yeah, that game was just absolutely wild. And sharing the pitch with him was Florian Wirtz, who took the first half and made it his own. Right? I totally thought Wirtz was going to basically lead Leverkusen to the win over Dortmund, and then obviously Haaland had other intentions, but Wirtz had 1 goal, 1 assist. He's another 18-year-old. We were just listing all those 18-year-olds. Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, Gio Reyna. I mean, all these guys are playing just amazingly alongside a guy like Erling Haaland. So it's just Wirtz, I think it was his 50th appearance for Leverkusen. And he goes out, he has a goal and an assist in probably one of the more entertaining games of the new Bundesliga season.
I got some stats here on Wirtz. Like,
crazy.
He's got 80 minutes played this season, and he's got 3 goals and 2 assists in just 80 minutes played.
Yeah.
And against Dortmund in one of those games.
Yeah.
In which he balled out.
Yep.
My days, Deichmannschaft. You guys, you're killing it. You're killing with Wirtz. I'm going to talk about Musiala now, so.
Yes.
Because he came off the bench, right, at the 45th minute.
Yeah.
And on the 47th minute, he was already scoring goals. And on the 54th minute, he was getting assists.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, another player, like I was saying about Haaland, Musiala, I saw a snapshot about focused on his legs. That quad is starting to look big, mate. Like, that Bayern development, that is real. But honestly, I do like the fact that he's coming off the bench, and it just shows that there's like a system at Bayern, and it's not just you play every game, you're the star of the show. Come on, he's 18, he's still developing, and I don't know, I'm excited with Musiala.
I mean, he'll get his chance, right? He'll get his chance, and to start, he'll get his chance to lead them all into glory. But yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist in 10 minutes for Jamal Musiala. I don't know. I mean, what a day for them, right? Musiala, Wirtz, Haaland. Can't wait till Reyna gets back. But I call him the Bundesliga 3, whatever you want to call him. I mean, these kids
Bellingham,
make.
Man.
And Bellingham too. I mean, Bellingham's a freaking warrior. That's what I don't understand. These 18-year-olds are like, somebody.
Did you see the Liverpool interest on Jude Bellingham though?
I did see that. Yes.
That is the best fit. That is the best fit for Jude Bellingham, in my opinion.
That's what they're looking for. Yeah, that's what they're looking for sure. And it could. What were they quoting though? Because it sounded a little bit low, 70 to 80 million or something. I don't know, but the maturity. I mean, Jude Bellingham. There is a picture that he showed. If you go to our FB Wonderkids Twitter account, I shared the picture there because it's him personified. It's that 18-year-old looking like a grizzled vet. You know, it's just absolutely unbelievable what I don't know. The Bundesliga never fails to disappoint with us, even if I have a problem with Bayern buying all these players by next year. But
it's the Bundesliga, it doesn't disappoint. And ending up with the Bundesliga with Jude is going to leave the Bundesliga just like Sancho as a starter, an English starter. Mm-hmm. So players continue to keep seeing the Bundesliga as a development league because, just like American players, English players, a lot of players can develop there, and it's very exciting. And I'm gonna lead up to another exciting league in the making with young talents. I'm saying in the making because I didn't associate it to young players, and that is Serie A, because the 3 hottest properties, not hottest properties, like that could sound very bad, but like the 3 hot commodities in Serie A in the striker position is Dusan Vlahovic, which he did bang a score. It was a penalty, but like it was a big game against Atalanta. Two goals,
two penalties, two
penalties. So I saw one. I didn't see the second. I didn't see the second one. But Dusan Vlahovic, Tammy Abraham, and Lautaro Martinez.
Sure.
So the top goal scorer is going to be a really interesting topic in Serie A, and I feel like people sleep on Chiesa's in Serie A, and for me, he's the top 5 youngsters in the world. De
Sure.
Ligt is in Serie A, and for me, he's the best young center back in the world. And Romero, when he comes back from Argentina, he's going to be dominating, okay, at Tottenham, because
Yeah.
if he's not there, like Hudson Edouard dominates you, just like he did 2 goals in 10
Sure.
minutes coming
Yep.
off the bench.
Yeah.
So the Serie A is showing that, yeah, you can develop players, and it should be seen as that. And yeah, I'm excited about that. I just wanted to say that goal scoring, those 3 goal
Yeah.
scores.
Well,
so
Vlahovic,
excited.
I mean, you and I have talked about this. I still have no clue how he remains with Fiorentina, right? And I think he might be one of the biggest transfers that likely get done in the winter, but we'll see what happens. And I have to throw another name into that mix because he's had a really nice start to the year, and that's Rafael Leao. He had another goal today. He had another goal
True.
today. Zlatan came in for him. Zlatan then scored. I don't know how that's going to affect his playing time moving forward, but I mean, he has 2 goals, 3 games start the season for AC Milan, and I would love to say that this is the season that Leao does double-digit goals and makes a name for himself in Serie A. But I know you might have other thoughts about that. But it was nice to see him on the score sheet earlier.
I'll be honest with Rafael Leão, it's consistency. Like, I love him
Sure,
as a
but
talent. I remember when he played for Sporting and he scored in Invicta against Porto. Like, there was loads of hype, and then he could have scored a second, a brace. So Rafael Leão is a player that he's got a lot of ups and downs, and that's just not sustainable for him. And I just want to see him getting consistent playing time and scoring goals like consistently. That's why I'm repeating the word so much, because
yeah,
that's what I feel like he needs the most. And learning with Zlatan, like, I really hope it goes well at the end of all this. Like, there you go. And I wanted
yeah,
to end up with one thing with the Tammy talk was Mourinho said that he was afraid with how Tammy Abraham was going to adapt to Serie A because he's never left London. He's never
sure.
left London, Tammy Abraham. So the fact that he's going to another country and he's saying he's adapting to Italy fantastically. Okay, so Mourinho is already
Yeah,
surprised with how Tammy Abraham is adapting to Serie A. So
the
I
food's
I
better.
don't know.
The food's better in Rome. Come on. Just, I mean, he's going from one cosmopolitan capital to another cosmopolitan capital, and I'm just,
The
it's
pasta, the pizza. Like,
yeah,
maybe we'll see Tammy Abraham leaving Rome like this made. Like,
it could
so
be,
I,
but
I don't know,
but
but like, and a fun fact, like, just to say it, and Mourinho is actually renting out the house to Aquilani, which is
that is a
which is
fun fact.
fact there.
Well,
So there
but
you go.
before we move on, I gotta say, you saw
Tell me.
João Felix had his
Yes,
first minutes back, and I'm very happy to see that.
yes,
And now
yes.
Atletico, if he can keep him healthy, you've got Griezmann, Suarez, Mateus Cunha, and João Felix. I mean,
They,
that's a very solid front four.
and with João Felix, did you see the game against Espanyol?
I didn't get to see
Like,
much
João
of it now.
Felix, like, the moment he came on,
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. It's not goals and assists. He
Yeah,
makes the difference just when he touches the ball.
well, it's
The
good to hear.
creativity, the vision, and I mind to say, I saw a guy with a focus on that pitch,
Yeah,
and I think I'm gonna go bold here, and I think João Felix by the end of this year is considered by everyone a top 5 under 23 player. I am hyped up because, you know what, João Felix, the moment that Griezmann is
hmm
coming back, that is pressure city for João Felix right
yes, it
there,
is. Yeah,
because that is the player that you replaced as a transfer. So I do think he's gonna step up, and that's it. It's gonna happen, Brendan.
yeah.
I'm hyped.
You have to imagine how he felt on deadline day when he's sitting there and he's just getting back, he's just feeling healthy again, and then boom. First off, they spend 30 million to get Cunha, which we both agree that maybe that's not going to affect his playing time long term too much because they can always play together. But then they get Griezmann. Um, Okay, that's a little different now. There's depth there. So, and we know Simeone is very agnostic when it comes to who he plays most of the time. So, yeah, I only hope the best, and I would love for your prognostication to
Mm.
come true. I would love to see him return to form in a way that it just it would melt my heart to see it. So we'll see what happens, but I'll tell
He
you,
deserves it.
yeah, he does. He does, and he's working his butt off to get back into health. And I only hope there's a spot for him, and it sounds like there is. So we'll see what happens. But did you happen to catch any of that? Did you stay up, I should say, until let's see, what would it have been your time? 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning for that USA Tale
Oh,
of
I
Two
feel
Halves.
it. I feel
Yeah.
the Pepe talk. The
Oh my
Pepe
goodness.
talk.
You
The
know, I
best
gotta.
finisher I've ever seen in U.S. man national team as a youngster talk.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Pepe train, they call him El Tren. The Pepe train is moving, and you better get on. It's pretty impressive to see, and even in that first half, that I said it was a tale of two halves, USA versus Honduras. Um, there's still PTSD from when the U.S. lost in Trinidad when they didn't have to, and they were clearly the better team on the field. But CONCACAF is something different. I don't know how to explain it. It would probably take a whole like podcast to walk through why CONCACAF is different. But playing Honduras is not easy for Mexico. It's not easy for USA if it happens in Honduras. Okay. And this particular game, we went in and we needed to see something because we had two draws, I'm sorry. And we were all feeling that PTSD all over again. Like, oh man, we are not getting the points we should. Okay. We go in, we go down 1-0, and we play possibly the worst half of football that I've seen the U.S. men's national team play in the Berhalter era. And everybody at halftime is already saying Berhalter out, Berhalter out. And I'll tell you what, I was this close to being one of them. Ricardo Pepi was on the squad for the first two games too. He didn't play
Mhm.
anything, and we couldn't score. We couldn't do anything. So he starts in this game naturally, right? He
Mhm.
then decides not to overthink it. No Gio Reyna, no Serginho Dest, no Weston McKennie because he decides to bring somebody back into the bubble. He needed to. We don't need to go into what that was. Um, None of our studs are there. You sub in a Brendan Aronson. Okay, you sub in a couple MLS guys. Before you know it, Ricardo Pepi is like the most dominant player on the field. Why? Because we're getting him the ball. We get it. He scores the one that puts us ahead. I mean, uh, he looks like he could be our future number 9. I don't want to just automatically anoint him, but he's 18 years old. He's now got 12 goals in MLS, and he just scored and assisted on his first U.S. men's national team cap. Okay,
Insane.
it's great. But
We,
we have more World Cup qualifiers coming up beginning October, so we'll see if it wasn't a flash of the pan. I don't think it
and
was.
start him. Please
Yeah,
start him. Okay, start Pepe
you have
because
to.
like you need him. How old is he though? He's 19.
He's 18.
18.
He's
What?
18. Yeah, he's
Like
18.
oh, develop that kid, man.
Yes.
But I like Daryl DK too. You know, I've got a soft spot with him because like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
he's a good player. Sergeant though. But I think Pepe, he's the natural born. I've never seen a U.S. player like that, Brendan, finishing
Yeah.
so
Well,
naturally.
as long as he doesn't take a page out of Berhalter's book and start overthinking things, like I think Josh Sargent is overthinking things. A bunch of
Hmm.
players on that team are just sometimes you just need to dribble, shoot, pass the ball, like just play football, right? Stop trying to, I don't know, out tactic a Honduran team that is good, but they're not amazing, right? So Ricardo Pepi, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, I would be very surprised if he doesn't lead the line for us in October. And frankly, I love it that just 2 days, 3 days after the game, um, he starts for FC Dallas and scores their goal. He's ready to go, man. So keep an
There
eye
you
out
go.
for him.
There
Any
you
any
go.
other youth
Mm.
performances? I mean, you mentioned Odson Edward. How
Well,
cool
I
was
like
that?
to yeah. Hudson Edward, he was a baller. Like that was 2 goals in 10 minutes. But
Yeah,
I like to finish on my end here with a
sure.
striker, and that is who I saw yesterday, and that was Darwin Nunes.
There you go.
Like 2 goals in 2 shots. That is efficiency right there. But
That is
what I
efficiency.
liked about it was uh, like he seemed really confident with his own body in terms of physique and how to use his body. So
Mhm.
Darwin is a beast, but what I saw at Benfica was he really didn't know how to use his body in the best way. Okay, and he seemed a bit low on confidence, which is a pity because a player like him, like he should, if he has all the confidence, like he's destined to go to the top stage.
Yeah,
So if Brighton were to get him for 30 million, that would have been a bargain, Britain, because a
fair enough.
confident Darwin Núñez is a player that is for the Champions League top stages, man.
Yeah,
He's a top talent. Top
was
talent.
that was
So
great to see. And I did. Do you think that was he only got his chance because of the Seferovic injury,
mhm.
or has he really worked his way into favor there?
He's better than Seferovic, Breton. Like he's for me, I put Darwin. I feel like Benfica fans would prefer to see Darwin Nunes playing. I could
Okay.
be I could be speaking out of hand
Turn.
here, but I
Yeah.
really do feel because Darwin Nunes is an asset that in 5 years, in 3 years time or 2 years time, I think he's triple the price.
Mm.
Like he was 25 million. I feel like a striker banging 20 to 30 goals, they can end up 60 to 70 million the least if Ruben Dias is leaving for that. So there you go. That's an exciting talent, and yeah, Darwin
Yeah.
Núñez.
Well, tell us some other ones in the comments section. I know we didn't talk about Noah Lang. Mark Cucurella's debut for Brighton was solid. Just so many others that I think we missed. I forgot. I got to shout out Philly guy Brendan Aronson and his role in
There you
that
go.
U.S. men's national team game. We missed Armando Broja, right? His
Hmm.
Albania. I think his first goal had 2 assists for Albania.
Like
But
Armando
hey,
Broja, like has 77 minutes, 2 goals, and
yeah,
2 assists
good
for
for him.
Albania. Like
Yeah,
there you go. There
you
you
love
go.
it.
So next topic. Let's
Had
go
to.
with it. So let's go with it. Fullbacks, and let's start with the under 21 best fullbacks. And would you want to start on the left or on the right?
Oh, I was doing them collectively. Top five,
Okay.
baby. Top five collectively. That's what I got prepared for you.
Okay, let's go with it. So, would you like to start with the right box?
Well, I actually have them combined. So
Okay.
I have literally because some of them can play both sides,
Mhm.
I don't know if Nuno can, but some of them can. Just kidding, just kidding. That's just rude. My number five for you is actually Divine Wrench. Okay.
Okay.
He just scored his first goal for the Aranja on his debut. He also has versatility in the sense that he can play left, he can play right, he can play in the
Mhm.
midfield and all across. And a lot of people are comparing his rise to the rise of Serginho Dest, but saying he did it a whole lot faster. In 10 months' time, he has worked his way into being essentially an Ajax staple. And I just really like what I'm seeing so far. It's just a matter of how it gets developed. But come on, 10 months after your Ajax debut, you're already on the pitch for Netherlands, a new Netherlands, right?
Exactly.
So that's my five. What's yours?
Well, my five is a player that's playing here in Portugal, and I'm a big fan of his because I did have not high expectations, but good expectations that it was Pedro Porro coming
Okay,
on loan from Man City. And my days, is this guy the best right back maybe in the Portuguese league already?
fair
Okay.
enough.
And like he should be in the top five for that reason. And I think people will see him in the Champions League and they'll be saying, okay, why why haven't we heard about him? Because this guy is a baller. And the best thing about Pedro Porro that I
Hmm.
feel like should be highlighted is the passing ability. He has those crosses that are just hell for the center backs. They just go on the floor, restinho, como dizemos em Portugal, how you hear, restinho against the grass, and you can't, not on the air. He's got a very good kicking arsenal. Okay, so Pedro Porro,
And
I'm
he was
very
Yeah, he was bought by Manchester City, right? He was the one that was loaned out multiple times, and then Sporting
Hmm.
just bought him, right?
Well, I don't know if they bought him already, but like it's a loan. It was a 2-year loan with an obligation to buy after the 2 years. I think it was
Gotcha.
8 million. I'm not sure, but there's an obligation to buy there, and Sporting are gonna for sure get that one.
Sure.
For sure get that one.
Okay.
So you want me to go with the four?
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna go with the four that by the beginning of the transfer window I was seeing a lot of news, and that's Max Aarons
Okay.
of that like the Premier League baller that I'm still surprised he isn't at a top club. Uh, really thought Max Aarons was gonna go to Bayern Munich. It would
Hmm.
fit very well, but not going. Like I still feel like he's gonna develop very well in the Prem. And do I expect him to see in the the English side? Well, it's gonna be difficult because of the players that I'm gonna mention ahead. But I'm sure he's gonna be a fantastic option to have. And crosses wise, dribbling ability, super comfortable on the ball. That seems to be a common factor in all these players that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Uh, so I like him a lot. I like Max Aarons is in my fourth position.
Yeah, he's one I was shocked that he stayed stayed put. So that'll be one to watch for sure. Well, my four, it's going to feel a little biased. Um, and I'm talking about, the Barcelona version of him right now, not quite the U.S. men's national team version. But I'm going to go for Serginho Dest. I don't like him with the national team right now because he's mostly been employed on the left side and he should just be stay at home on the right. But I don't think there's very many players, clearly with him in the top five, that has a similar dribbling ability to him. He's gotten much, much better at one-on-one defending. He's gotten much better at tactical defending and the whole system wide. But when he's in an Ajax setup or he's in a Barcelona setup, he's definitely, in my opinion, top five U21 fullback, Serginho Dest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth on the list, of course. But I think there's such a high window there and it hasn't been properly tapped into. And he's another one. And it could be the Dutch nationality, the fact that he's US Dutch. I think Ronald Koeman can actually get it out of him, assuming he stays healthy. He had a knock the first game. He hasn't had the best when it comes to playing for the US men's national team, but we've already seen glimpses of it for Barcelona. And they've shown by getting rid of Emerson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona has shown faith in that they expect us to be their number one moving forward. And that'll be really, really fun to see because I think he's got, as I mentioned before, very, very high ceiling. So 4 for Dest.
There you go. There you go. So you want me to go to with my number three?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so my number three is this top three is so difficult to do. Okay, this might be the most difficult top three to do in terms of debates because I do feel they're all very leveled, the three
Sure.
players you're going to mention. But I'm going to say the Champions League winner, Rhys James.
Hmm.
Uh, I do feel like he's the most complete of the three options, okay, that I'm going to mention. But I don't think he's the best player of the three. And Rhys James, like I want to be, and I can only be positive about Rhys James because he's a fantastic player and he's got it all as I mentioned. But I do feel like the player that I put ahead of him, that is Trent,
Mhm.
he's got an extra inch offensively, okay, and defensively the tacticians wise you can compensate because the offensive power is just too good.
Okay.
So my number three is Rhys James.
Oh,
So I love him, man, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think you're right. The top three here is all within a game of inches, right? They're all within each other. And my three, you're not gonna like. But it is Nuno Mendes. And the reason why I'm picking three here is because I haven't yet seen him. I have to see him
Mm,
starting a Champions League final. Okay. But here's what I am going to say about Nuno Mendes. You know him better than I do, but from what I've watched, he's the best crosser out of the five I'm going to mention. That's for sure. He's likely the most sound defensively
mm-hmm.
off of the five I'm going to mention. But we know obviously wingbacks slash fullbacks. It's a changing game these days in terms of how they're employed. But I think I have to see more. I know you have seen him a whole lot. but he hasn't even hit 50 appearances in world football yet. So it's not a knock on him. It's just that I don't have the full sample size. PSG does. They also have a whole lot of money to spend. But we will get to see him more, and that's why this PSG move is so important moving forward. But yeah, I mean, he's only on 48 or 49 actual appearances so far as a 19-year-old. Like, why was he such a late bloomer? Could you enlighten me or educate?
Wait. So you're saying an 18-year-old is a late bloomer?
Well, he's 19, and he
was 18 when he played for Sporting.
Well, that's true, but he only played 48. I mean, you're talking about Alphonso Davies at 20 has.
I get you. I get you putting like
double the amount.
No, as you should. You should put the leveling of the Davies with the Nuno Mendes as like on the like I understand, but trust me, with those 40 games as a sample, you're going to see a player that defensively you're not going to see too much around, and Davies does have unbearable pace for any person has to defend on him. But Nuno Mendes has an unbearable physique that's going to defend upon you, okay? One-on-one, people know Marega here. And Marega is a huge player. And Nuno Mendes at 18 was stopping Marega. Stopping properly. Ligue 1, they're going to get ready. But, so, you were right. You got all of the fullbacks on top merged. So, I want everyone to understand that I had a left back and a right back list. So I'm going to put like the Rhys James third. Okay. So I'm going to put second. So guys understand at a right back list, I'm going to put second Hakimi and first Trent. But given so that we're doing top 5 best, I'm going to put on the 3 spot Fonzie Davies. Why am I going to put in the 3 spot? Because the 2 I had I feel is better again. But Fonzie Davies had something that happened that was the injury. And he did come back, and he's showing that it didn't settle upon him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a tough knot in the statistic points of view that you love to mention there. But, yeah, let's see. I like him, but I don't think Bayern Munich, I don't think he'll be enough of a weapon to win the Champions League. So,
you mean again?
Let's see.
Because he already has one, and he started a Champions League final, and so did Rhys James.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and they both won the Champions League too. But you're right. I mean, I would highlight Alphonso Davies, the torn ankle ligament, coming back from that and regaining his spot in one of the best clubs in world football as definitely a shining moment, while also trying to lead a fledgling country to its first World Cup in a very long time. So maybe I'm a little CONCACAF biased here in terms of favoring some North American clubs and watching him come up as a 15-year-old. But maybe that's my feeling in that, the way you feel about Nuno Mendes, I feel about Alphonso. I remember him stepping on the field as a 15-year-old, right? And watching his ascendancy, watching him get sold there and saying he's going to get buried at Bayern Munich. And then he doesn't. And the kid's got personality for days. The kid's got like relatability for days. And I think we're seeing that. So yeah, if he stays healthy, you can probably already see who my number 1 is. But now I'm a little confused on what, I sent out U21 fullbacks, but now we're adding U23s in there.
I got you. Exactly. Because I had a list with under 21s, but yeah. You're right there. I'm cheating.
Okay, well, let me go through. Here's my top 5 young U21 fullbacks in the world. 5 is Divine Wrench. 4 is Serginho Dest. 3 is Nuno Mendes. 2 is Rhys James. 1 is Alphonso Davies. All 5 of those are 21 or under. Okay. Now, if you add Hakimi, or you add Trent, or you add anyone above that, things get a little more interesting. What would your top 5 be? Yes, mixing left and right backs. What would your top 5 be? You just said it, I believe, but maybe you could restate it for U23.
No, I did another top 5 with fullbacks and right backs under 23, and my top 5 would have Hakimi on the 5th position. On the 4th position, I'd put Rhys James.
Okay.
on the third position, I put Alfonso Davies, because you mentioned it, that Champions League run. I still can't forget it, but the injury, I still feel about that. Number 2, I'm gonna put the guy that's the boldest guy on earth, Nuno Mendes, the top left back. No, but no joke. Like, people are gonna see why. I called it now against Man City, PSG, Man City, 28th of September. We're gonna see if we can do something to make it happen live on Twitch, guys. So let's see if something's gonna happen there, and you're gonna see why Nuno is top 2. And my number 1, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, because I do think the crosses of Trent are immaculate, and he's the only player in the top 5 players that I mentioned here that has a signature move, and that's the cross. Like, Trent's cross is immaculate. It's one of the best crosses, not just in game, but in recent game. I know people could say, oh, he does so many, but he does so many because they work. So I'm going to put Trent on number 1, and I'm sorry for the confusion, guys, but
yeah, no. And with that, if I'm going to add U23s in, I mean, you're not going to be happy with mine, but 5 for me is Rhys James. 4, I have to have Teo in there. Okay. Teo Hernandez.
Teo Hernandez. Sorry.
3 is Fonzie Davies. 2 is Hakimi. I don't know why you and I have a little disconnect on Hakimi in terms of where they lie, which I suppose is understandable. And my number 1 is Trent, and I'm not gonna disrespect what he brings to the table for Liverpool. Obviously, there is an element of him needing a proper setup to get the most efficiency out of what he brings to the table, and he's still got a lot to improve upon, but he's just next level when it comes to creating chances, and that's absolutely vital to Liverpool right now, and clearly England, if he's going to be their right back moving forward. Or his center midfielder. One of the coolest things I saw the other day was England-Andorra was, I believe Trent was in midfield, Rhys James right back, and they switched for a while. And I'm like, man, this is fun. I'd like to see more of this. But anyway, James, Teo, Davies, Hakimi, and then Trent as our number 1. So we're aligned. We're lying there.
We really don't think alike with Hakimi, though. I think Rhys James. I'm saying like a Portuguese person. People are gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna say like a Portuguese person. People. Rhys James, not Rhys James. Like, I don't know how a Portuguese person would say Rhys James.
Wait till I start doing it. Yeah.
But Rhys James, I do think he's better than Hakimi, though, because the big thing with Hakimi is defensively, man. With Conte, in Conte's system, I think it works out very well. But now with Poch, I think Nuno Mendes is going to look better than Hakimi. I'm going to go bold. Nuno Mendes is going to look better than Hakimi this season. That's a bold prediction right there, because Hakimi is rated much better than Nuno Mendes.
Yeah, and he's off to a good start. He's off to a good start this season. So it'll be Nuno got his first minutes recently against Clermont, coming off the bench, and we will get a larger sample size moving forward, and I'm just hoping on September 28th everybody sees what you see, but we'll see. And that's what we also have to bring up. I don't think we have time to talk about it, but hey, UEFA Champions League starts this week, and near and dear to our heart, even though it hasn't been around too long, the UEFA Youth League also starts this week, and I don't think we have time to run through those that we want to watch or have to watch, but we will definitely do it next week after the first games have gotten underway. But hey, it's like everywhere you look, right? Football, and I wouldn't have it any other way right now.
Exactly. That's the way to end up. You can't have any other way, mate. And I like to end up too saying thank you everyone who's supporting us on TikTok. Like, just the fact that we're coming to a studio, to a place, not a studio, making it a studio. And it's all happening because of you guys. And I'm incredibly grateful that I have the chance, we have the chance to like make something out of this. And yeah, guys, like this hoodie too. Watch out. Watch out. Something's going to come up. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
More to
There you
come.
go.
You have a good
More-
one.
There you go. There you go. So there you go. FC Wonderkid episode 21, and there you go.
Wrapping
Bye,
up.
guys.
Bye.